right, what's up, guys? How you guys doing today? And today we have a special guest for you. Today we have Tracy with Media Marketing. How you doing, Tracy?
Media Marketing.
Huh?
TR
TR.
Media,
Oh, okay,
yes.
TR.
It's my initials.
Oh, okay. What was the last Ramirez, right?
Ramirez, yes,
Oh,
it
okay.
is.
So how you doing? Hey, I appreciate you coming for for this right here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's actually pretty exciting. I mean, I was like, oh, he's inviting me to a podcast. So I was like, yes, I gotta go, chit chat with him.
Yeah. But also you gotta do your due diligence and make sure, okay, this guy's not a psycho or whatever, right?
I did my little research. I was like, no, he's legit.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go see him.
Oh, okay. But what call it? You know how it is, and especially I found you through Facebook because you know how we apparently know the same people.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook suggests it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
These people. So I figured I seen your picture come up and it said marketing. It's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You know,
Yeah.
people might want to know how to market themselves or when to get somebody to market themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But before we start getting that, can we ask, or can I ask you, who is Tracy?
Oh, who is Tracy? Okay. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before, so now you kind of caught me off guard. But I'm from Port Arthur.
Born and raised?
Born and raised. Born to immigrant parents. I've always wanted to, since I was a little girl, I always thought that education was very important. My parents, obviously being immigrants, they were like, look, education. So I had that on the back of my mind. PAISD schools, all that. But then it came to a point where my mom became a single mother, and I had to start helping, provide. We both worked together to, take care of each other. So I did leave school, but school was always in the back of my mind. So years passed, I got older, I fell in love with my husband, George. Fell in love very young and started having kids very young. But there was always this little voice that I don't know if you have that, like maybe your inner voice or your inner child or your intuition, right?
Yeah.
That was telling me, hey, Tracy, like, don't forget that you have goals and dreams. So I created my family, became, did the whole 9 yards, right? The wife, stay at home, be super mom. And it was when I got pregnant with my third that I was like, that voice just kept, trying to tell me something like, hey, you need to get back on track, like what you wanted to do with your life. So I told my husband, like, hey, I think I'm gonna go back to school. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you just had a baby, meaning like our third.
Yeah.
And he's like, we have kids. Do you think that's a great idea? And I was just like, I don't know if it's a good idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And he's like, I don't know, babe. I don't know. Like you're putting pressure on yourself. You have all this, on your plate with the kids. I don't know if you're gonna be able to do it. And I just took a leap of faith. And 5 years later, I graduated, walked across the stage with my babies, all four. Because at the time it was 3 when I entered university.
Yeah.
And when I finished university, I had 4 kids.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's a big accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Very emotional. Because looking
bet.
up at the stands, it was all 4 kids, and my husband, my parents, my in-laws, everybody. So
yeah, and to this day, you guys are still together too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a
we've
big
been
effort
together
right
a very
there.
long
Yeah.
time.
So and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong. But like, how did you get into marketing? It's just one day, one night.
I never thought about marketing, right? My major in college was communication broadcasting, and when I was a LUTV anchor, I learned a lot about the business. Being a main anchor, interviewing people, making packages, all these things. Well, I started marketing myself, so that's how it initially started. Because my good mentor from Lamar, his name's Gordon. He told me, he's like, Tracy, you're a brand.
Yeah.
Think of yourself as a brand. And I was like, oh, I'm already big-headed. See, I don't know why you told me that, because now I'm about to take it another notch.
How old were you when you started thinking like that, like you're branding yourself and like that?
25, 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still kind of early, you know?
Yeah. My mid-20s. So I was just like, okay, I got it. And he's like, yeah, you need a network. You need a He already knew I had the face and the clothes, and I had all that. But he's like, it's marketing. You market yourself. You go to networking events. You just think of yourself as a brand, and I guess become a likable figure. Because if people don't like you, or people don't want to work with you, you know what I mean? So in that aspect, like broadcasting, I had to be a likable personality, a TV personality almost, right? So it was him who put that marketing thing in my brain, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I did so good on myself that what ended up happening is that before I graduated, literally I opened my TR Media. I started TR Media my senior year.
And what year was that?
That was 2023, recently.
Oh, okay.
I've only been in business for like a year and like a few months.
Okay, well, you got to start somewhere, you know?
Right. So I was doing so well, and I'm bilingual and all these things. I had 2 or 3 people like with businesses approach me like, hey, do you think you can help me and I'll pay you?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, yeah, you could pay me.
Yeah, I know.
First of all, you want to pay me, yes. But I was like, how would that work? Like, I'm an independent contractor type thing, right?
Yeah.
So I said yes. I was like, I'll do it. And I told my husband, it's all new, right? I've never owned a business. My husband's never owned a business. No one in my family has ever owned a business. Like, it was just all so new. I didn't know what to do. So I, of course, went after friends that knew what to do. And they're like, oh, just, open your LLC. And I'm like, so what's a LLC?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, girl, I got you. Let me help you. You go to this, website. You got to register. First of all, you got to make sure that the name that you pick is available. So there's all these steps.
After that, you got to get your, EIN number and all that?
You got to open a bank account.
Yeah.
I was like, a bank account? Okay. And guess what? I just got my debit card for the bank account. That was very, very trippy for me. Like, I had to send a picture in the group chat of my family, and I took it. They're like, dang, CEO, we see you. Like, my business name was on the debit card.
Yeah.
So, like, that trips me. So these are just things that, as a first generation daughter, college graduate, business owner, I'm learning, right? I'm learning these steps by myself, by trial and error.
Yeah.
So that's how TR Media came about.
Okay.
Just, it fell on my lap.
That's good. People call it, that's a lot of, I call it accomplishment. Because you being 20, that young in the early 20s or whatever, doing that. Because when I was in my early 20s, I wasn't thinking about doing anything. I was just painting cars or whatever. And I figured I'll probably do this my entire life.
Talking about young age, it took me a while to figure it out. It definitely did. I didn't get into university until I was 26. So, and I felt, it's crazy how we're like our own biggest self-critic. At least I am. I thought that wasn't enough. I was like, Tracy, 26, like, you're old. Like, you should have done this when you're 18, 19, 20. Because when I was in college, all of the college kids running around thought I was their age. They were like, oh, she's 21, 22. Told them, no, I'm married with 3 kids. And they're like, they really did not believe me. Like, I had to show proof. But they're like, you're married? You have a whole life. I'm like, yeah.
I was in the same boat pretty much when I started going back to LIT first. I went for computer drafting when I was, I think, 28, 29. Yeah. I got that degree in 3 years because, I had two jobs in a house and my kid too,
And doing that at the same time, yeah.
So then I got that degree, so I wanted to go back to school for mechanical engineering.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I was interested in how things work.
Yeah.
But in order for me to get there, I would have to start all my courses again. Because not all of those courses transfer over from the drafting, just the basic, like arts, English, those.
So how was that for you?
It was tough because especially when I got to Lamar and started doing all the calculus, physics, all of that.
You were like my brain.
And
I'm too old for this.
I was, compared to everybody else. Everybody else like
they're
20,
sharper
21.
Minds. They're sharper, and they don't have the responsibilities that we did.
Exactly. So you know what I mean? But yeah, I failed a couple of classes, whatever. But I just kept my head up and just keep on going.
Well, talking about failing classes, you felt like you said that you kept going. Well, what happened with me was I got pregnant while in university. He was not planned. He was a surprise baby. So. I was pregnant through it all, still taking classes online. I switched, because it's on campus or you're online. So I found out I was pregnant. I was like, well, this is not stopping me. And at the time, I didn't really think of it much. But when I graduated, one of my good friends told me, Tracy, you did it. I'm so proud of you. And you got pregnant, like, in university, and you didn't, like, give up. Because, like, think about that. I could have gave up. Like, I was pregnant and be like, oh, well, let my baby be a year and then I'll go back. No, I had my baby in the summer. I'm sorry, I'm lying. In October. That spring that came up, I went right back to school. My baby was only a couple months. I have pictures of him being a newborn I'm feeding him his bottle with like a little pillow and I'm studying. And I've had milestones, you know, like that, where I'm just like, I could have gave up and I didn't. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I ultimately got it.
I want to say one of the best tips or one of my friends, or advice that one of my friends gave me, told me when I asked him, you think I should go back to college and do this? He said, what? You got to think this way. Time will always pass.
Yes. I heard that too. Someone told me that too. Or either I saw, because, you know, like Instagram is amazing now. Like, I don't know about you guys, but Instagram is my therapy. There's so many people, like podcasts, talk shows, like they give amazing advice. And they said that they're like, you're never too old to switch your career, go back to school, like try something new. They're like, because time is going to pass by anyway. Yeah. And I felt so old at that time. I was like 26, Tracy. Like, are you with 3 kids? Are you gonna be able to do this? And I'm like, just my little fighting spirit, a little warrior in me was like, I'm not scared. I'm gonna do it, and I did. And then I graduated. And I'm like, look, the time passed anyway, and I'm not done. I'm trying to get my master's.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, that's coming soon. So yeah.
Oh, congrats right there. Like, I know you get it done, so just don't worry about that.
You.
Any tips on marketing?
Tips on marketing, it depends on the business, or if it's career-wise or business, because I can be talking to a realtor. You know, they don't own the business, they're just a realtor, or I can be talking to someone who actually owns their own business. Yeah. For a realtor, I feel like you need to be, again, that likable personality, and also super involved in your community. Because again, if you're not likable, or if people don't think you're genuine, or that you support your community, no one's going to want to do business with you. Yeah, that's so true. And that's kind of the same thing about a business owner. But for a business owner, you got to be on social media. I mean, you know, yes, for the realtor too, but on the they're like a one-man show or a one-woman show, so they're like taking their own content. But for a business, like for a restaurant, they have accounting. They have, I don't know how big the restaurant is, if they have 5 employees or 20 employees or more. They're not going to be worried about social media. They're going to be like, hey, you, Janet, take this picture and post it on Facebook. And then a week goes by, and then there's no more content. You know what I mean? So the advice that I would give is, it just depends on your circumstance. Yeah. If you're a solo person, I think you can do it. And that's how I started off. I was my own marketing person. But as far as businesses, I work with a lot of restaurants. I see that they're the ones that they're just too busy. So you have to outsource. And if you have the marketing budget, because that's important, you got to have the money to pay. If you have that, then you can definitely outsource and have somebody else worry about it, a professional, and you just worry about accounting and customer service and making sure all your food tastes great.
Any specific, what call it, social media, like Facebook or Instagram, or all of them? I think the
dominant, it just depends. Locally, it's Facebook. If you want support from your community where you're living at, it is Facebook. Facebook is number one. Now, if you're trying to go outside of your community, meaning, you know, reach people that are in Florida, you never know, they might be in Texas because they have a cousin that lives in Houston and they saw your restaurant through TikTok or Instagram. Yeah. Right? I mean, that happens to me when I travel. Like, I'll randomly, for example, if I went to Atlanta, Georgia, right? And I was like, oh, what restaurants are good? You know, let me get on Instagram. Because people are making videos and content. I find them like, what's this? Oh, look at this Mexican restaurant. I go there. They're like, how did you hear about us? Instagram? That's what happens nowadays, is people will find you through your content. So Instagram is more worldwide. Yeah, anybody can find.
I've been trying to put my stuff on Instagram a little bit, trying to find a layout that I think that probably worked best. I think for this, and then I finally started using Facebook. I got it on there. Yeah. And finally opened a TikTok account, but
listen, the TikTok is kind of, and I'm a social media marketing person. TikTok is just one. I feel like it's oversaturated. And it's kind of hard to be found, in my opinion, right? Because I don't know, I'm not too good on TikTok. Yeah, I messed with it. I got the views a little bit, but it's like, this is what started happening to me. I learned my own lesson. If I'm trying to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of them, you're going to drop the ball somewhere. So what I did, my strategy is, I'm like, look, you're going to focus on 2. If I start dominating those 2 and I'm like knocking it out the park, and I'm hungry for more, right? Hungry to expose myself more or brand myself or market myself, then I'm gonna go to TikTok. It's just, you don't want to drop the ball on one of them. So That's my rule of thumb. I'm like Facebook, Instagram. That's where I dedicate all my time.
Yeah, and you just brought up LinkedIn, so I figured too you could probably use this same marketing for
Yes.
as an employee. You know, what I mean, to market yourself for the employer.
Yes, well, that's exactly why my mentor told me. He's like, and I remember he told me about LinkedIn. So he was like, hey, you need to, because my LinkedIn was good, but I know that any professional will tell you, this year you're good, next year you need to be great, and then the following year you need to be greater than the previous year. So like you're always gonna upgrade yourself, upgrade your your look, your fashion, your brand, right? So he's like, your LinkedIn, he's like, you constantly, consistently and constantly need to be updating what you're working on.
Like every year, maybe at least change your profile to a picture.
Not even every year, like every 6 months. I would
really?
think, yeah.
That much? Wow.
I would think.
I've been having mine the same for like 5 years probably.
No, yes, it's due time. It's due time.
Okay. All right. So we touched a little bit of when to get a marketing expert, but what do you think? How about when it's somebody little starting off?
Starting off. I have a lot of tips for starting off. So starting off, I would say a lot of people get discouraged when they're like, okay, well, I'm going to post on Facebook a photo of my career or what I'm doing or a business, a restaurant, their bestseller, and they'll put a picture, and it doesn't get a lot of love and all these things. There is a strategy to social media, but my tip would be to just start posting. Try to post the highest quality of photos. I don't want to see anything that's blurry, anything that just looks bad. Like, you have to think, I think of social media as a magazine. When you look in a magazine, do you see anything that looks horrible? Like, no, these photographers laid it all out, took beautiful shots and put it all in a magazine for the customer to enjoy. So that's kind of like the same vibe for social media. Put your best quality of work out there. Another thing would be to post consistently. Don't post on Monday and then post the following Wednesday.
Yeah.
I need you to come up with a plan with your business partner or yourself, or whatever your circumstance may be. You need to have a schedule. It's called a schedule, content schedule.
Yeah.
Facebook already has a built-in one, which I personally use. I like to use because I do run multiple pages for my clients, so it can be a little tricky.
I could imagine I don't know, you probably have like 10, 20 accounts you're working on.
The goal is 20, but I love it because it keeps me organized. Find out how many times you want to post. That's base. Let's post. You could start off as simple as let's post twice a week. Yeah, that's doable, right? Don't try to be consistent. And then once you got that going for a good month, we post every Monday and Thursday. Yeah, for a month. All right, we're seeing a little engagement. Okay, let's push it up a notch. We're gonna post 3 times a week now, 4 times. I have a client that he posts every day. I told him, I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, but honestly, it depends of the business too, though. Yeah. But he's like, no, we have specials Monday through Thursday, and he's like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's the busiest. I was like, you're right. Like we had to. Sometimes I go back and forth with my my clients, because I got to see what their thinking is, and then we kind of meet in the middle, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. So what you'll do, because he has like a system already, he built it. I'm kind of coming into the strategy. I post about 3-4 times a week, and we simultaneously post, and he posts what he posts. Oh, okay. And we're a team. That's good. And that's all he wanted. He's like, I know that you can help us because you could give us that boost, that modern content lift that we need. Yeah. So it would be quality of your content. Please make sure you post good photos of whatever you're posting. Have a schedule and be consistent, and number 4 is the biggest one. Don't get discouraged, because that's going to happen to every single person. I don't care who it is. Oh, okay. Because you're going to be like, oh, well, they're not liking my photo and they're not sharing. I don't care. They seen it. Yeah. They seen it. They going to act like... I get on my Instagram, I'll post something, I'll get a couple of likes. I go to my stories, 100 views. Yeah. And it used to bother me, and I'm like, well, they see it. You watching me work, so I'm like, all right, it's cool. So you kind of have to have, what would you say, like... thick skin or something like that? Yeah, like a little thick skin, and believe in yourself. Yeah. Believe in yourself, no matter what, because they don't care who down the block, what they doing, what businesses... They're more packed than you are, or, that realtor is selling more houses. You keep doing you. That's another one that, another advice I would give, especially in the social media world. I feel like we do that period, like just normal people. But when you're in the career world or in the business world, you're like looking like, how many houses they sold?
Yeah.
You know, dang, they sold that much. Well, that means they have a new car. Like you're always comparing. Stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That is, what is it? Comparison is the thief
Thief
of
of
joy.
Yeah.
That's so true. So
Yeah.
I had to, early on, you know, younger me, I had to check myself on that. I was like, Tracy, you are on your own journey, your own time, your own lane. What is for you is for you. God will make a way for it to happen. So don't compare yourself to her or her. You are on your own time and lane.
Yeah.
So that's my advice.
That's good. So that's one question I was going to ask you too about it. Since you're going to be posting on all these social media, does it have to be the same layout for each platform or different?
I try to do it differently.
Okay.
I don't care if it's the same photo. I'm going to put a different caption. I'm going to put a different twist on it some way, somehow.
Or even two different photos, probably?
You can do two. Well, what I like to do, too, is do multiple shots and multiple angles. So what I meant by same photo is like it was taken the same day or in the same scenario.
Oh, okay,
like,
gotcha.
I was, you know, at this restaurant, but you got 3 different shots of me doing 3 different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely want to not put the same thing on all. And if you do... every blue moon, I'll put the same thing on all my platforms, right? But I'll have a different saying just to kind of give it a little, you know, a twist.
Just different twang, let's say.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so how about successful stories? Anyone that pops into mind, you think?
Successful stories with, like, what do you mean? Like marketing or just like as a business?
That so far that you have helped.
That I have helped. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking now. We were talking about Anna earlier, Anna's Bakery.
Yeah.
I kind of want to bring her up. I wouldn't want to say I helped, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I gave a little bit of marketing.
Oh, okay.
I used to write for the Port Arthur News,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to learn about Anna, which her story is very inspiring. And she came out in the Port Arthur News magazine. So, you know, that is a form of marketing.
Yeah.
Not only is she in the magazine, it was digital. It went digital as well, so we could reshare it on Facebook, and then people get to see it and read about her story. So I would say out of my favorite story that I've ran across that I was able to, like, kind of give my own take on it, you know, it was my work, my name is on it, you know, author, would probably be Anna.
Yeah, and she has a very interesting and
she has an amazing story. Because
yes.
I'm like, if she can do it with all the obstacles that she had, and she didn't have the opportunities that I have as a first generation, you know, in the United States. I'm like, listen, people, I don't care who, you know, has something to say about this, but people that are not born in the United States have a different type of warrior spirit.
Oh, yeah, because the kids nowadays, they don't know what hard work really is.
Listen, like I do know so many immigrant stories. I've heard them all because I've gotten to write about them, or I've gotten to interview them for when I was at university at LUTV. Like, so many stories I've heard. I've heard several stories. But that's something that always stuck out to me. I'm like, man, immigrant people are just some warriors, you know? And when I hear their stories of their setbacks, you know what I mean? Another one would be La Vaquita. I know a lot of people who know La Vaquita is because they're in Port Arthur and Beaumont. They had several setbacks. I mean, and when I heard about that, I'm like, and y'all still didn't, like, close the store? And they're like, no, we borrowed money. We did, you know, you do what you got to do to survive. They're like, it's going to get better. And so, like, just hearing things like that, hearing Anna's story, you know, I'm like, Tracy, you're facing your own things, right? I'm not trying to downplay what I'm going through, but it's like, if they can surpass, you know, I can too.
Yeah.
And, you know, so yeah.
Good stories. But, okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself living in the city. I'm just going to manifest that. I don't know. I'm just going to manifest it. I don't know if it's in Texas, in Georgia, in Florida.
Hint to the husband, right?
Huh?
hint to the husband, right? Like,
he knows. He knows. He's always known that Port Arthur. I'm not a small town girl.
Yeah.
And I mean, people that don't know me. They're like, you're not from here. Like I've gotten that I'm from Puerto Rico. That I've lived from New York. You know, they're like, you're Dominican and you live in New York. I'm like, no, I wish. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm a big city girl, fast life. So I definitely see myself living in the city. TR Media will definitely have employees.
Oh, really?
because I'm a one woman show. I like to keep it that way because I provide for my family. So baby steps, you know what I mean? Baby steps. But that's where I see myself. And just in 10 years, I see myself being on a really big platform where millions of people can see me.
Okay. Or like, which, if you had to have a client, or you could choose a client, or you want to get a client, who would be a client that you would want to get?
Oh, that's a good question. A TV personality, somebody that's like kind of in my field.
Oh, really?
Just because I would like to be like, I would like to absorb, and someone older than me. Because I feel like I'm pretty wise, and I've had to be, I had to grow up very quickly and be an adult very quickly. So when I meet, I got to meet Erica Harris from Channel 6. Oh my gosh, like such a wise woman. Like I love meeting older women, learning from them, getting advice. So it would have to be somebody in the broadcasting media.
Broadcasting?
Yes. And I could just follow them and just be there. I don't know. Just absorb all that knowledge and wisdom.
Oh, that's good. How about company-wise? Any companies?
Oh, company-wise. Probably GMA, Good Morning America.
Good Morning America?
Today's Show. Yeah.
Those are up there, those are very high. Well,
Yes,
I hope you get there. You know what I mean? I have a really...
I will get there.
I know. Well, yeah, exactly. You will get there.
I'm a manifester. So
And then
instead of saying someday, I say I will do this. I will do that.
Yeah, and like that's I tell all my guests, you know what I mean? I hope, I wish them the best, you know what I mean? With you, I already know you're going to get there. I know you're going to get there because the way you put yourself out there, you know what I mean? But also tell my guests, you know what I mean, if later on, 5 years, 10 years, when they become famous, I say, you know what?
There you
They were on my podcast.
You were on my podcast. Yes.
And then I will want them to come back again just to catch up.
And then you'll get the views.
Yeah.
You'll get the views. They'll be like, Robin, he had this famous person in this little town. So,
How about any final words for the viewers to help them out?
Final words for the viewers. For a long time, I didn't have anybody to look up to. In my family, being the first generation college student, first to own a business, a lot of firsts for me. I always felt down about that. I'm like, man, I wish I had somebody to look up to. Well, I know I'm not the only person. I know there's a lot of us out there that don't have someone that like you idolize. Like you're like, I want to be like that person, like I want to be successful.
Yeah.
I want to have these things because my aunt or my, whoever, they have that, right? I would say believe in yourself, because that's what I ultimately did. I was like, you know what? Since I don't have that person, I'll become that person. And now I'm that person for my kids. And then it's just a ripple effect, right? So yeah, that's the advice I would give is just if you have a dream, I don't care what it is. If you want to go back to school, do it. Don't let nothing stop you. If you think your age, your kids, I'm going to tell you one thing, it's going to be hard. Very, I'm not hard. It's going to be very difficult.
Yes.
To the point, it's going to push you to the point you want to give up. Difficult. And because I speak from experience, but once you reach that other side, it's pretty amazing. Because it's like you go through the hard trials, and I want to give up. And once you do it, it's almost like smooth sailing. Yeah. The hard part is done,
And that's what some people need to realize. If they see somebody successful, it's like they just didn't wake up and became successful. They put some work.
Well, I used to think that. Shoot, I was like, that must be nice, and I stopped saying that. I was like, no, because then you start learning all the stories that these millionaires or whoever, right, whoever's successful, you really get to, because eventually everybody likes to share their story. And you learn people's stories, and you're like, well, man, I didn't know they went through that. No, you didn't. But they survived, overcame, didn't give up on the dream, on the vision, on the goal. They stayed, committed to it.
Because most people don't see the journey; they want to see the ending or the final.
They're on TV or look at their house or they have all this money or they're known or whatever. It's like, but it's a process. It's a journey. It definitely is a journey. So, I would definitely say, please follow your dreams. It's never too late. And like we said earlier, the time will pass anyway.
And if you guys start a business and you guys need marketing tips. Shout out to
TR Media.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you guys like the content we're putting out, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.